Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to the Phoenix International Raceway as we're getting set for pole day qualifying for tomorrow afternoon's race weekend here at the Phoenix International Raceway for our fourth race of the second season of the Craftsman Truck Series powered by the WRA. While drivers are currently getting ready to go out onto the track, we at the World Racing Association want to send our condolences to the people of Minco, Oklahoma. Uh, as of this recording, Minco public schools are closed today after a bus that was carrying the softball team crashed last night from a game in Anadarko, which the softball players, some of them were ejected from that crash. I can tell you, as I'm recording this video, as we're looking at Joshua Ambrosio, nobody was killed, nobody died. Right now, 6 of them are in critical injury. So, want to send our best wishes to the people of Minco, and we're thinking about them here this weekend. As Joshua Ambrosio, the first driver out onto the track. This is the last race we're going to have the Season 1 points because starting next week, we'll be using Season 2's points, this season's owner points. As 12 drivers will be locked in the show for tomorrow afternoon's race. So, should be interesting to see how that will turn out this weekend. 30.058 for the 23 of Ambrosio. Ambrosio trying to make his second start on his Truck Series career. Here's a couple of drivers going to be making their debuts. They'll be running limited schedules. This is Derek Elwood in the 53, one of Cody Smart's drivers. Xavier Rand in the 5, 29.630 for the 5 team. Anthony Ritchie, if he makes the show this week, he'll be locked in the show and will not have to worry about Gorgone qualifying starting next week at the Auto Club Speedway. Phelan Bradley attempting to qualify to make his Truck Series debut. He will be running a limited schedule because he is not 18 years old. So this 112 entry will not show up at Auto Club next week. So there you go. Maria Steiner in the 86 machine. Maria trying to make her second start in the Truck Series. Currently 15th quickest. Lauren Grubius in the 57, running a limited schedule in the Truck Series. Attempting to qualify for her first Truck Series event of her career in the Craftsman Truck Series. She is a former Coca-Cola Truck Series driver. Bruised to a 29.545. Big news for Lauren Grubius this weekend. She will be in the 41 Winston Cup car for the rest of the season after Ben Erickson was ejected from Chip Ganassi Racing, which that has been announced. So the team has already released Ben Erickson effective immediately from the Winston Cup side. So we will hope that Grubius can make the show so she can run all 3 races this weekend. Ruby White in the number 72. Ruby White, 28th in the points. If she can make the show this week, she will be in good shape. Abigail Furling has been really struggling trying to make races. Dropped 17 spots down to 31st in the points. Failed to qualify for last week. Scarlett Wallace made her debut last week at Las Vegas. Chikara Takashi, currently 17th quickest. Nick Pericles. The last time Nick Pericles took part on this channel was the Monster Energy Series back in 2016 when he drove for the 00 for his Pennzoil Pro Series ride, which was the ASCA car he was driving at the time. Now he's attempting to qualify to make his Truck Series debut in the 103. Victor Albalez Trix Christensen also going to be running a limited schedule in the 95. Due to the fact she is not 18 years old. There's Lucas Sales, Rogel Dorn, Erica Douglas, Trinity Lee, a couple of drivers uh, who have not made races this season. Trinity Lee only made Coca-Cola, has failed to qualify ever since. Douglas made her second start last week at Las Vegas. She is up to 15th in the points. As long as she makes this week's race, she will be locked in the show, not having to worry about qualifying her way in. Rogel Dorn, 4th quickest right now. Zachy Panini, 23rd quickest. Mark Simpson, the fastest driver. If Mark Simpson makes the race, he will be locked into the show next week at Auto Club, because where he's at in the points, 6th to be exact. So we'll have one of the SS Greenlight Racing trucks locked in the show. Quentin Moore, 47th in the points. He only made Rockingham. Didn't enter Coca-Cola because they were trying to get, because the entry list was already out. And Q-Man failed to qualify for Las Vegas. Donovan Carter trying to make it into this week's race. Donovan is, I believe, still looking to make his first start of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find the 16. And I believe I am correct. Yeah, Donovan Carter has failed to qualify for the first 3 races of the season as Quentin Moore goes to the pits. There's Ambrosio. Lucian Bianchi has made the last 2 races after he failed to qualify for Coca-Cola. Currently 22nd quickest. Looks like, unless he can find any speed in that 07, I don't think he'll make the show. Zach Foster made his debut last week at Las Vegas. Zach Foster had a solid run. Tyler Thomas, the brother of Annie Thomas, trying to attempt to qualify in this 101 machine. On the bubble is the 53. That would be this driver right here, Derek Elwood. As we're looking at Lindsey Sutton, we haven't seen Lindsey since the Monster Energy Series in 2023. Lindsey is going to be attempting to qualify this truck for the rest of the season. And her younger sister, Rachel, trying to make the show as well. She needs to improve a 29.170 if she wants to be in the show. There's the other driver, Samantha Johnson. Haven't seen her since 2023. An extra driver for Skylar Taylor. Samantha Johnson trying to improve a 29.173. Samantha is not related to Betty Johnson, just an FYI. There's Lauren Grubius. Not finding any speed in that 57 machine. Remember, this is the first attempt of the 57, as they have not been on track for the first 3 races. Even if Lauren Grubius doesn't make the show, we will see her tomorrow as she qualifies as the Busch car. She is locked in the show over there. Victor Alvarez looks like he's going to make his second start of the year. Erica Douglas, Rogel Dorn, Trinity Lee has not found any speed whatsoever. So Mark Simpson is the fastest of the go-or-go homers. Abigail Furling is 3rd quickest. That bumps the 53 out of the show. Puts Anthony Ritchie on the bubble. What a desperate job for Abigail Furling trying to make the race this week. She needed a lap It was good enough for P3. Good job. Look at that. 3/1000ths of a second. And zeros are on the clock. Talk about a shot clock cheese. As the 18 has not even improved his speed. As Mark Simpson, who comes into this race sixth in points, he will be in the show not just for this week, he will be in the show next week because of where he's at in the points table. Talk about a well done to the driver out of SS Greenlight Racing. That's it. Standings are official. Well done to Abigail Furling. Needed to make the race, knowing the top 30 will be locked in to this week. So this could actually get Abigail Furling locked in the show. Same with Mark Simpson. Shakira Takashi gets to make the race. Abigail Furling, the aforementioned Abigail Furling. Zach Foster makes his second start in a row. Well done to Zach. As he will make the show, Rogel Dorn, Pedro Sales, Quentin Moore, Tyler Thomas, Victor Alvarez, Erica Douglas, Joshua Ambrosio, and Scarlett Wallace will take the final transfer spot. I'm trying to see. Okay. I just didn't know if I derped or anything, so yeah. Unfortunately, the drivers, wow, Scarlett Wallace beat Anthony Ritchie. And for the first time this season, Anthony Ritchie, who made every race up until now, and he was third in points coming into this race, has failed to qualify. So he will definitely drop through the points table like a rock. Join Anthony Ritchie in the DNQ list: Derek Elwood, Maria Steiner, Sasha Bright, Donovan Carter, Nick Pericles, Phelan Bradley. Not sure what Phelan Bradley's next start will be, as he will try again in his next outing. Jacob Foster, Lucas Sales, Zachy Panini, Rachel Sutton, Trinity Lee, Samantha Johnson, Lauren Grubius. We'll see Lauren Grubius tomorrow and also on Saturday as she gets ready for the Winston Cup Series. Will be in the 41 for the rest of the season after Ben Erickson was ejected from Chip Ganassi Racing. The 54, that is Bronson Booker. That's one of Cody's drivers. Xavier Rand, Lucian Bianchi, Lindsay Sutton. So both of the Sutton sisters will go home. Ruby White, Trix Christensen, and Timo Mauser. Those drivers, unfortunately for them, they have failed to qualify. They will try again next week. And where does this situate Anthony Ritchie for next week at Auto Club? Because as I said, he came in this race third in the points. This is going to be a huge blow to Anthony Ritchie in the championship, as he will fail to qualify. So we're definitely going to have a point shakeup heading into next week's race. We're going to take a break, get these 12 Truck Series drivers to join the other 30 that are locked in the show as we get ready for our fourth race of the year and find out who will start on the pole when we come back after these messages and the word from our Blue Hedgehog station. Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway as round 2 qualifying is about to get underway. 15 minutes now on the clock as we're going to find out who will start on the pole for tomorrow afternoon's race here at Phoenix International Raceway. We already got a major shakeup in the points as Anthony Ritchie, third in the points. That's made every race, failed to qualify. Why? Because he was one of the drivers. And of course, this is the last race for the season 1 owner points. We'll be using this season's owner points beginning next week. That's why he failed to qualify. So the points are really going to get shaken up as we're looking at Skylar Davidson in the 36. She is going to attempt to qualify the Busch and the Cup car this weekend as she wants to go triple duty racing. As we'll see her tomorrow afternoon for the Busch Series go or go home qualifying session, and as well as the Winston Cup Series go or go home session to make the race on Sunday. She will be the first driver to set the benchmark. Of course, her pit stall was in front of the start-finish line, so this will be her first timed lap of the session. If you get drivers that have already set a lap time, that is their get up to speed, and then they will start their first official timed lap. Skylar dropped 10 spots down to 39th in the points, so this is her last opportunity to get herself into the top 30 in the points table. The good news is it's really, really close. Like 18 points back of the 30th in the standings. As I said, this is the last race we use this season's points, as you already see some drivers already setting some lap times. That's because their pit stalls were behind the start finish line. So this will be the first official time lap. And around goes Ashlyn right into the wall. And we're going to see that a lot this weekend. 30.772 for Wright. Look out as everybody's trying to avoid the Jelly Belly Chevrolet. That will compromise some drivers' laps. We're going to probably definitely see that tomorrow afternoon. I can guarantee you that. Addison Peterson in the number 6 machine. Addison comes into this race 25th in the points. We will also be seeing her tomorrow, trying to qualify her Busch car into the show. And she's also going to run some Winston Cup races. We will see her attempt to qualify for that as well. Of course, she tried to make the show for Vegas in the Cup car, failed to qualify, so she's running a part-time schedule over in the Cup Series. Going to focus on the Truck Series Championship, not eligible for Busch. There's Maisie Creighton. We just mentioned about Maisie, 36th in the, or dropped 10 spots to 36 in the points. Only about 9 points back of the 30th in the standings. That's occupied by Dara Schmidt. Remember, this is the last race we will use Season 1 points. Next week, we're using this season's owner points. As Mark Simpson races his way in, he will be locked in the show next week. He will not have to worry about having to qualify his way into the show. He can focus on qualifying for the pole. As Joshua Ambrosio, another driver who is trying to race his way into the field, or who raced his way in the field, I should say. As he goes top of the sheets, 29.137 for the 23. There's Tatiana Guerra. Tatiana is, by the way, your points leader coming into this race after what happened last week at Las Vegas. And that is the guy that's trying to run down Tatiana Guerra for the points lead, Michael Brown. Abigail Furling to the top of the timesheets, 29.121 for that 62 team. There's Gretchen Mueller, Danny Johnson, 37th quickest right now. Danny is 37th in the points table. He is a total of only 10 points back of the 30th in the standings to be locked in the show. So Danny Johnson needs a good run tomorrow afternoon to be locking himself into the show. Bora Park, we'll see her tomorrow afternoon qualifying the Busch car before the Truck Series race. Bora Park, 12th in points, dropped 4 spots after last week's race, but a very quiet run for Bora Park for the South Korean. There's our German driver, Gretchen Mueller. Gretchen comes into this race 4th in the points, lost the points lead last week at Las Vegas. Of course, that race was caution-free. There's Ingrid Pollard back in the Super Chip colors on her Ford F-Series. Jumped up to 26th in the points table. She's also another driver who needs a good run, because the problem for Pollard, she's only 3 points ahead of the 30th in the standings cut line to be locked in the show. Cheyenne Berkshire. Cheyenne is 33rd in the points, dropped 3 spots. She is not that far from the cut line. 6 points. Or, no, let me see. No, check that. 5 points behind the 30th in the standings cut line. So she's got a chance to lock herself into the show. Sam Vickers. Sam is 13th in the points. No matter what happens this weekend, he'll be locked in the show. Daniel Gitteroth in the 14. Dropped 4 spots down to 7th in points. He'll be locked into show next week because of where he is at points-wise. Shyla Ascroft, 17th in points. Dropped 2 spots last week at Las Vegas. 26 quickest. There's been some rumors for Shyla Ascroft. Of course, she's going to attempt to qualify in tomorrow's Busch Series race. Also, will try to attempt to qualify the Winston Cup car starting next week at Auto Club Speedway in the All-Star 97. We'll see how she does. She goes the second quickest. 29.064. Ambrosia, by the way, the fastest time. There's Lucy Granger. Last time, this will be the final race. The 50 will be locked in the show because we'll be seeing the 50 in Gorgon qualifying. Lucy Granger making her second start of the season. Of course, Carolina Bradley is 10th in points. However, she will not be 10th in points because she's not entered this week. So we'll have Lucy Granger in this car for this week and next week as she will attempt to qualify this number 50 into the show next week at Auto Club, our last race of the West Coast Tour. Pedro Sales raced his way in, 23rd quickest. Pedro making his second start, failed to qualify last week as he's 42nd in points. Anna Steiner in the 59. 20th in the points. We will also see Anna Steiner tomorrow afternoon trying to make her Busch Series debut. Got a lot of Busch cars that will be here this weekend. A lot of good drivers are going to go home as a result. We just saw Victoria Hughes. She dropped 2 spots to 19th in the points table as Quinton Moore is making some adjustments. Ashton Ingersoll in the 64. 5th in the points table coming into this race. Carlos Rodriguez. We will see Carlos tomorrow afternoon trying to attempt to qualify in his Busch Series car. As he's one of those go or go home drivers. Mark Simpson's on pit road. Anna Berger in the 66th, 31st quickest. 11th in points for Berger. 5th quickest for Abigail Furling. That's Cody Goforth in the 7. Cody Goforth came in this race. I'm looking for the 7 truck. He's 44th in points. So unless Cody Goforth gets a good result, he will be another driver in danger of having to face the D&Q list. Michael Brown just on pit road. Dylan Cunningham jumped up 17 spots to 14th in the points table. Lena Ritchie in the number 1. 22nd in points. 10 points above the 30th in the standings cut line. There's Zach Foster, Quentin Moore, Victoria Hughes, Dylan Ibrahimian. We'll see him tomorrow qualifying the Busch car and also trying to make the Winston Cup race. There's Ashlyn Wright in her backup truck after she got turned on the front straightaway. We're going to see that a lot this weekend. She's only 2 points below the 30th in the standings cut line to be locked in the show. 32nd in points. For the Jelly Belly machine, she is 25th quickest. We'll see her tomorrow in the Busch race. We'll also see her for the Cup race, trying to make the show over there. As far as the Busch Series is concerned, Ashlyn is having a very good season, 10th in the points in the Busch Series. And she's trying to go 4 for 4 this weekend, as she will be in the Winston Cup Series. Currently 30th in the points table. Having a very good season over in having a really difficult start to the year. But the good thing is, if she's still in the top 35 in Winston Cup, she will be running all 3 series, believe it or not. Sophia Woodward from OKC. Also one of the drivers wearing that special t-shirt. Sophia jumped up 3 spots to 16th in the points. A good start. Quiet start to the year for the OKC driver. Currently 15th quickest here in this qualifying session. And there's the gal that has a lot of pressure on her in that critical 30th in the standings, Dara Schmidt from Moldova. She definitely needs a good run. Currently 35th quickest. Thankfully, the truck race is longer tomorrow afternoon. And a good chance that they can work some pitch strategy out in tomorrow afternoon's truck series race. Mohammed Zain in the 00, 27th in the points. He also needs a good run to stay ahead of the 30th in the standings cut line. Mark Games. Mark comes into this race as I look for the 24th in the points, jumped up 12 spots after last week's race at Las Vegas. The problem for Mark is that he's only 4 points ahead of the 30th in the standings cut line, believe it or not. There's Sam Vickers. Luis Hernandez, another driver who needs a good run, under a minute to go in the session. Hernandez, 35th in the points. Another driver who is less than 10 points back of the 30th in the standings cut line, 8 to be exact. So he's got his work cut out for him tomorrow afternoon. And it doesn't appear anybody is going to beat Joshua Ambrosio's 29.058, he said. He and Shyla Ascroft will be on the front row for tomorrow afternoon's race. It's looking very likely. Carlos Rodriguez, we'll see him tomorrow in the Busch Series. Pulled a qualifying before we go racing for the trucks. Erica Douglas alongside of him, as that is the session. Qualifying is done. The next 2 rows are female drivers. Abigail Furling, Ingrid Pollard, row 3. Bora Park, Tatiana Guerra, row 4. Quinton Moore, Gretchen Mueller will be your top 10. As everybody's finishing up their laps before the session gets the red and black flags. And there it is. That is going to do it for qualifying here today for the Craftsman Truck Series. The only on-track activity we have here today. So we've basically given you your top 10. Skylar Davidson, Luis Hernandez in row 6. Maisie Creighton, Scarlett Wallace, Dylan Cunningham will complete your top 15. A lot of drivers really need to have some good track position. Looking through the rest of your qualifying results, Tyler Thomas starting 20th. Ashlyn Wright, we'll see her tomorrow in the Busch Series qualifying. We'll see if they can find some speed over in the Busch car. That would help her in the Truck Series race. Zach Foster's second start in a row, 24th. Look through the rest of the qualifying results. You just saw where second in points is Michael Brown, 37th. Ugh. Of course, Tatiana Guerra was inside the top 10 in the points, so Michael Brown's got his work cut out. The good news for those two drivers, the guy that was third in the points who failed to qualify, Anthony Ritchie, he will take a hit in the standings. And of course, Carolina Bradley, even though she's 10th in the points, it's not going to matter because she's not top 10. She's not running for truck points. Anna Berger would actually be right now 10th in the standings because we do not count the 50 All-Star team that is 10th in the standings, just an FYI. So a lot of these drivers who need to get a good result back here at the rear of the field. Victoria Hughes, Sam Vickers on the final row. Vickers 13th in points. Victoria 19th in points. So those two drivers really got some work to do going into tomorrow afternoon's race. But pitch strategy definitely going to be a factor tomorrow afternoon. I think we're going to see a lot of strategies in this race. It should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this qualifying session. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We've shown your starting lineup for tomorrow afternoon's Truck Series race. They will go green at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow afternoon. Before that, we'll have the Busch Series qualifying at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we will set their field for their race on Saturday. We'll have Winston Cup qualifying Saturday at 3, Busch race Saturday at 5, Winston Cup race Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until tomorrow, I'm Indeed Deville signing off. Thank you for joining me and saying goodbye from Phoenix International Raceway. Coming up next, we'll rejoin the Infinity Network Sports Studios programming already in progress. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You've been watching the World Racing Association of Grace Racing since 2013.